now it's instantaneous, it's online. We've already seen the challenges. We have always hired a lot of retirees during 2020 and during the senior census. That's because they've generally gotten for people concerned about their benefits being impacted by additional income, they usually get a waiver during 2020 to work, not to worry about their benefits impacted. But as you can imagine, some people have gone off the grid, which I plan to do when I retire, get completely off the grid, so we need them to have at least an email address so they can apply for the census jobs. So we'll get that report. We're asking for place for these. I should pick up testing place. We just need spaces that have good Wi-Fi now. And we will be coming out using some spaces where we might do some orientation, because we cover a huge region. But we mainly need public space that has free Wi-Fi and that's ADA accessible and that has computer access if possible. And we need help with spreading the word about jobs. We have actually 3 websites. One, the usajobs.gov is for salaried positions. We will be hiring partnership specialists. We actually have 2 positions posted right now for Cobb County and DeKalb County. Those are salaried with benefits. We'll open our offices in Gwinnett, Douglas, can't remember this county. But those office jobs, the local management office staff will be salary with benefits. So that'll go to usajobs.gov. Field jobs for our ongoing hiring, for ongoing surveys. And then if you have any questions about jobs, you can go to that website or you can call that number. And so that's pretty much it. Next step is to schedule a workshop and give us a call if you have any questions. Are there any questions?
Council, staff, any questions? Ms. Myers?
I have one question.
Yeah.
Councilman Horsley.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Apologize if you didn't hear any feedback. Just wanted to know by what date do you need to have a committee chairperson?
We're asking you to try to start forming now, so we know the process, and it may go through next year. So let's start the process now. And because the census count actually starts not until 2020, but we have some time, and you know how people are with their time, and you gotta give them what you can.
So by like July or?
Yeah, by July. I said by the summer of next year. Because you have to at least develop a plan and have it in place. We will release during April 2020. You will see your response rate on your track. You will see in real time. So let's say you have a form and then create a plan, and you start seeing numbers on it. You want to have something in the plan so you can implement and then pivot if you have to. So by the summer, I feel like that's all I'm talking
You copy all that? Travis?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I'm getting my census request already, and reminders.
Yeah, or that's probably a learning community survey. Yeah. That's Thursdays.
Yeah.
Yeah. ACS is part of the law.
Gotcha.
Anyone in the audience have any questions for Ms. Myers? Ms. Mack, right, Mack? I was going to say last
I
time.
knew you were going to say that.
Uh-huh.
I have a question about redemption, but I'll ask you shortly, so we can move.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Mack. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next presentation is by J.T. Williams on an innovative transportation initiative. Mr. J.T. Williams is the representative for Transit X LLC. He's met with the city staff earlier this month and is invited April to be included in a regional network of autonomous solar-powered travel pods. The proposed system will be 100% private investor funded. Mr. Williams is here this evening to present information to council. Mr. Williams? Thank you for being here tonight.
Just right.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much for letting me be here today
Thank you.
and present this to the, hey, how you doing? And we've, this is a totally different type of transit. It's different than anything I've ever seen or heard of. And the last 16 years I've been chairman of transportation projects at Greta. And the governor just appointed me another 5 years, and that's my last. I'm quitting after that. But what's kind of shocked me when I first became chairman 16 years ago was in public transportation, transit, government has to pay all of the initial cost and 2/3 of the annual operating cost. Riders only pay about 1/3 or less. When they go to buses, you see that, driving around, 2/3 of all that cost are paid by government, not by the riders. So this is totally different. This one, I think that Tim's already given y'all some information on the summary. The highlight is totally private finance, zero public funding. So not looking for Hateville or the state or the federal government to put in 1 penny. On the other hand, we'll pay back to government 5% of the gross revenues. And the gross revenues come not only from riders, but from advertising, and from freight, and from the solar, the pods. They're magnified, the solar part is, and we have a lot of excess electricity that goes up on the grid and sold to Georgia Power. And so 5% of all of that revenue would go to government. And it's solar powered, no fumes or other air quality issues. One of my jobs is in in charge of air quality for Metro Atlanta. Now, 16 years ago, that was a big problem. We've done a lot of improvement on there, but I'm really sold on reducing or helping, aiding our air quality. This does. Solar power, no fumes, operates 24/7. It's cheaper to the rider than other transit methods. It reduces congestion, provides parking relief, reduces pollution, improves safety, no risk to government. Performance bonds and other insurance provided by Transit X. Then in the bottom goes some of the things. Because of Hateville size, we're proposing a 3-mile podway. But if y'all wanted some more, I mentioned to Tim that we're open and flexible on providing additional stops if you need them. But 95% of your population would be within 5 minutes of a stop. So like a block or 2 blocks or something like that, and be a stop there for them. Transit X would start off with $17 million investment in Hateville. That's the highlights of it. I think you also have our 13-page proposal, and that gives an initial idea of where those podways should go. But we'll be working with Tim or whoever y'all appoint to determine where the podways should really run. Now, since I'm a frequent visitor of the Dwarf House down here, I hope you have it running down there. It was, let me see if I can get this. I apologize for not being able to have that up on the top there, but this is what, if you can imagine that looking right down here, Main Street down
Very
here.
space age.
It is, it's 50 years in the future to the present. And thank you, seen that.
Very wild.
And I don't know if y'all seen that. I'm too old to remember the Jetsons. A lot of people say that they're like the Jetsons.
He said,
You can imagine running one of those pods right down there. Okay, we can have you number 1. And I don't know, it's up in the air. It's actually flying.
Oh my goodness, is there? It's like,
How about that?
oh my
And
goodness.
you see that? You see it? You'll see it all right? Get an idea of it? Okay. Who wants to be number 1? Most people want to be number 2, not number 1 up there. But this is the, I apologize again for not being able to show it on the screen itself. But you'll notice in this 13-page proposal that Transit X, headed by Mike Stanley out of Boston, he is very transparent. All of his estimates are in there with the revenues, the 5% cost of debt service, the net losses initially and then the net profit later on. The fares, how they're calculated, that's on page 11. It's in detail how they'll be determined. I know you have a full agenda. Any questions that y'all have that, I don't want to take too much of your time.
My only question is related to the actual functionality of it. Are there any live displays of this?
And I'm sorry, any what?
Any live?
Is this something?
Oh, is it done? It'll be at the end of this month, 29th of this month in Boston. Demonstration units will be in place there. They're underway now in the Philippines, Malaysia, Ghana, Uganda. And one reason it did start over there is because the government owns everything. One contract, you don't have to worry about right-of-way easements and all that stuff is done. And then in Ohio is about the same place we're here in Metro Atlanta. And but we really wanted to start it near around the busiest airport in the world. And one reason, you get a lot of publicity. So that really helps getting into other areas. College Park, City Council voted unanimously last night to do it. Authorize the MOU done yesterday. I met with City Manager and Mayor of Forest Park and Lake City today. 100% for it. They're presenting it to their council next week.
So you have funding lined up for the construction?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, you have an MOU that I think's been reviewed by your attorney, on that MOU, I wanted to point out one thing at the very back. There's no risk to the city at this point. It'll be 3 or 4 months before you'd have any risk, and then that would have to be approved by you again. It'd have to be approved by the mayor and the council, as well as anybody else you want to approve it. That's to sign the operating agreement. And that'll be negotiated between Transit X and y'all between now and then. But a copy of that is available for you, on page 5, you'll see a reference to that. But on second page of that MOU, that down to the very bottom, last paragraph says, this memorandum of understanding is intended to spell out the general terms for future negotiations and will not be binding upon Hapeville unless and until approved and authorized by the Hapeville City Council. So you're not doing it. What you really do by signing this MOU and approving the authorization for the signature, what you're doing is getting the place in line, and that means you're cutting us loose to do what we have to do. We've got a large sum, maybe you asked about the funding, a large sum set aside, but for Transit X. But then to set aside for Hapeville takes another process. It cuts loose to give everything the funding company the bank needs. And that's been taking only about a week, 1 to 2 weeks. And they'll carve that out and then have a letter for that for Hapeville. It cuts loose our engineers for them to do their things, and then the surveyors to do theirs. But getting the exact location of the podways, and that'll be discussions with me and Tim or whoever y'all designate about where it should be, and then the surveyors go out and survey. But we don't need a 10-foot wide easement. It's not, and it doesn't touch the ground. It comes down about that far off the ground when the podway comes down to pick you up, and then goes back up and takes off 45 miles an hour. But we want to go from the residential areas to the commercial areas. That's really the main thing of your pods. Okay, did that answer your question? Okay.
Yes, it did.
Go ahead, Travis.
So the page before the Henry County, Georgia news article, number 5 said it estimated annual payment to government, in this case, Hapeville per year, 400,000, starts at 143 in year 1, up to 667,000 in year 12. What happens after year 12?
What occurs after year 12?
What happens after year 12?
Yeah, it keeps on going up. The revenues will continue to rise. You'll see that for each of the years, it rises some every year of those 12 years. That's on page 13 that you're looking at.
Yes, pro forma.
And it loses money the first 4 years, 5 years, and then starts making money after that. And, but you notice it keeps going up. The profits, $4 million in year 11, $12 million in year 5. The government portion, the second line there, the 5% that's paid back to government, starts off at $143,000. Year 12, $667,000, and but going up so much every year, and it will continue to rise after 12 years.
So the proposal is all of these things would be interconnected with other municipalities in this area.
That is correct. It was, what we'd like to do is have, like in the Tri-City area, all, just as though it were one podway area, and connect back and forth. And like when you go into Virginia Avenue, it needs to be consistent.
That was one of my questions, the interconnectivity of the pods. Would Hapeville be their own silo, or would it connect to other cities
It will
that
connect to
award the pod?
everything actually in Metro Atlanta. The whole area. You can get on here and go to the football game or a Braves game. But all over Metro Atlanta is our plan to get all interconnected. And when you dial on your little smartphone, I'm going to get my grandson to show me how to do it. But I order a pod, and I walk to it, and then the pod's there when I get there. And then there's a little kiosk on a post, and first when I walk up there, if I've done it before, it recognizes me, that facial ID. Like the new smartphones, you'll have that facial ID, you only have to push something there. I had to learn that. But if you normally go to 4 different places, it'll pop up when you arrive at the kiosk, it'll pop up 4 places. You can push the one you want and get in the pod, and they'll take you to that, the one you want. Or to the new one, you dial in the stop number or the address, and it takes you to where you want to go. But hopefully, that these would all interconnect in Metro Atlanta, so you could go from Hapeville to Gwinnett County with the pod.
Are there other, excuse
me,
are there other individuals that are working governments in Metro Atlanta all over right now? Or is Henry County and South Fulton the beginning?
It's just me. I'm the one that's working all of them in there.
Yeah, but other governments other than.
Like City of Atlanta.
You're talking about going to a Brave game, Cobb County's got
Yes.
obviously to be
I'm
involved.
meeting with the mayor of Atlanta tomorrow morning at 9:30.
Okay.
Met with the executive director of Cobb County, Cobb County, city, county manager, and Fulton County, Dick Anderson, y'all probably never get it. I've served 16 years with him on the government board.
So you're doing Metro Atlanta all together, basically. Metro Atlanta's being done
All of Metro
together at the
Atlanta.
same time.
That's right.
That was my question.
But we're concentrating, I'm concentrating on the area around Atlanta airport, because that's where, that was the instruction I had, they want to really concentrate on that first, and then go to the rest of Atlanta.
Travis, I have a question.
Okay?
I had a quick question with regards to air rights. As you may or may not know, back in the, I think it was the late 70s, early 80s, the airport ended up buying a bunch of air rights over Hapeville. How does that affect this? And we'll go ahead and ask two more questions just so I can put it back on mute. Say Transit X goes belly up, what happens in terms of insurance and removal of said infrastructure? And is there a stated desire to connect to the international and domestic terminals? So see, that's where the real, I guess, profit and connection motive to hotels in Hapeville could be of use.
Did you
Did you understand?
I got parts of that.
The first question was, what happens if your operation goes belly up? Who's going to be responsible for the demolition of the infrastructure?
The performance bond, if you, when you look at the proposed operating agreement, the performance, the Transit X will have a performance bond to remove and restore
Okay.
everything in there. What was the next question then?
What was that second question?
Question before that was related to air rights.
Air rights, yeah, the air rights. A lot of the residents of the city of Lakeville sold their air rights to the FAA several years back. And what kind of effect would that have? Have you crossed that bridge
I
yet?
don't know, who has, like, when you have utilities,
Right.
they have some air rights, but the air rights we are talking about, don't go over 24 feet.
Okay.
So it's pretty bad.
Very high air rates, okay.
Yeah.
And his third question was, will it be linked to the international terminal at the airport, pretty much?
Yes, and that's the main reason he wants to do that. Around, I met with Jeff Turner today, again, that's the third time with Jeff at Clayton County's chairman. And we want to meet, we'll be able to cover everything around the airport, everybody that touches that. And because one of the things, we wanted to go right to the terminal, international terminal and domestic terminal, and then they can get on MARTA there. This is not exclusively just for, we're trying to just pods. We want to have it an alternative. One of the things, like MARTA's heavy rail, some light rail, buses, and pods. You probably know the Aerotropolis CID has commissioned a study to be out 2 months. And they are including heavy rail, light rail, buses, and pods. These are the pods.
Okay. All right, council, any other questions? Any issues on the MOU from the legal side?
No, it's merely just memorializing that intent to further the project.
I'll open the floor up for questions for the pod man. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
If you state your name and address for the record,
Yes,
please.
my name's Mary Ann Smith. I live at 518 North Avenue here in Hateville. And my question is about the company, Transit X, and the owner, I believe you said, was Mike Stanley?
He's the CEO.
CEO. Okay, is this traded on the New York Stock Exchange?
No, privately owned.
It's privately owned by his family?
Well, no, well, the company, Transit X LLC,
Uh-huh.
it's a Massachusetts LLC.
So that's owned by a group of investors?
That's correct.
Okay, so somebody asked about going belly up,
Uh-huh.
right? Because we've seen, from 2008 and then, previous downturns in the economy, that what looked like a good thing,
Sure.
really just went into the floor. So that's what I don't understand is because it's privately owned, the government doesn't have any kind of authority over it like we would if we owned it, as, the government, like with MARTA and so on and so forth. What guarantees? You said something about.
He said there's a performance bond, so.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
A performance bond means if you don't deliver what you promised to deliver, an insurance company comes in and
A
takes
big
it up.
insurance company.
A big insurance company would
Yes.
come in and take it over.
That's right. Or make you whole.
Or make you whole, but
Right.
it just seems kind of iffy to me. Maybe it's because I'm, like a senior citizen and,
Those are good questions.
yeah.
But the attorneys all over and commissions, the questions, well, Chris Tomlinson, some of y'all are probably aware of Chris. He's the executive director for CERTA, Greta, and ATL, the new one that is starting. Mike Stanley, taking it down to Chris, his first trip down here, he grilled him for 2 hours. And Mike brilliantly answered it, and he got through, and he said, JT, they only have one big problem. It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
that's what
That's
makes
my
me
fault.
wonder.
That's right. And you don't risk anything by doing it.
Yeah, see, that's
Either way.
not very
Okay,
good.
other questions? Rod?
You mentioned something about George Jensen.
Who?
George.
Oh, the Jetsons.
Okay, I remember him.
Do
I'm
you?
always jealous of him, so I'd like to volunteer to take the first iPod ride.
All right, okay, good.
From,
Bring your dog, Elroy with you.
the mayor said he'd ride.
All right, Dave.
I'm 85 years old, so I don't remember all that, George Jetson, but my children and grandchildren do.
Well, I do.
We're good, you're young kids.
John Stovey.
John Stalvey, 3284 North Whitney. So I've looked at your pictures and your video online. You've essentially got a raised, suspended pod.
Yeah,
And so if you go around Hateville and you go on our major thoroughfares, which is essentially probably where these would end up, I would assume, we have all above-ground utilities.
mhm.
So how, are you gonna bury our utilities to do this?
No.
Or you're just gonna
It-
weed
it-
through them?
No, real good question. Not only does it go there, it goes in the residential area. We want to touch anybody, any resident, within 5 minutes of a stop.
Right.
So we're going to get the residents to various areas, whether it's medical, or shopping, or eating, or to the airport, or downtown Atlanta, wherever it is. So we want to do all that. Give me your question then.
The utilities that exist there, you have power poles.
What we are proposing to do, it uses a track
Mhm.
to this thing. Well, on the track, what we've done in other areas, and we're working with the Georgia Power now on that, is bringing most of their wires into the track.
Encasing it in the track.
That's correct.
Okay, my second part of my question, I'm sorry, because you mentioned going into the neighborhoods. So I own a house in the neighborhood that is chosen to have a rail line ran through it. And I decide, I don't want a rail line ran in front of my house. Are you gonna use eminent domain to take that right away from me?
No, you've done, it won't go on your property. It'll go on public right-of-ways is where the easements would come from,
Okay.
on there.
But you need 10 feet, right?
Say again,
You need 10 feet, right? Isn't that what you said?
10 feet wide.
You don't have 10 feet in the residential areas of right of way, do you?
Well, I don't know what it is here, but you should have 60 feet normally. What are the right-of-ways in, on most?
Well, that's part of what the MOU will do.
Yeah.
Part
I'm
of
just
that,
asking because
part of that would be feasibility.
Sure. Okay.
If you have, say, 5 minutes to get to the pod from your house,
Uh-huh.
what about our elderly people? You know, like, I'm thinking about myself in a few
Yeah.
more years, I'd be
Well,
in a
you
wheelchair.
can, when you
walker.
order one, you can order a handicap pod for wheelchairs, whatever it is, all kinds of pods.
So they would come to my house and pick me
No,
up?
no, you'd have to get somebody to wheel you to the pod, to the stop.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stops all around.
All right, Ms. Knight?
Vicky Mag, 3200 Dogwood, has Boston started building?
And then what?
Boston, city
Has
of
Boston started building?
Oh, yeah, that's where this is gonna be available by the 29th.
They started already.
That's right.
His presentation is available. If you go to our website, the meeting packet for tonight will have all of his presentation contained in it. Yes, ma'am.
Lori Wade, 3123 Old Jonesboro Road. What is the timeline on this? Should we enter into this? What is the feasible timeline of having this up and running in the metro Atlanta area?
Well, it should be by 2020 is where the first ones would start. It'll take probably 5 or 6 months to get it shovel ready, and then about 12 months, then depending on the size of the pod weighs, 12 months to install it and get it operating.
Okay,
But that, it's not gonna cover Metro Atlanta by 2020.
Oh, yeah,
That's the
that's,
starting it, and then it keeps on going.
all right, one more question. We've got a lot of other items to get to tonight. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. That's
Thank
very
you, thank
interesting.
you.
The one thing I will say on the private sector funding, in some of my transportation trips with other mayors from Fulton County, we've gone out to Dallas and seen how Dallas handles transit. And that's the model that they use, is private sector paying for it. They construct it, they maintain it, they operate it, they get the revenue from it. But they also police it and everything else. So it's a model that we need to turn to so that private sector is participating in the great need that we have for better transportation solutions in Atlanta without it all being a government-required expenditure, because we've only got so much money, so. Any other comments on this, council? All right. We will get in now to, we will take general questions at the end of the meeting tonight, but any item that we're going to be voting on tonight, whether it be in the consent agenda, new business or old business, if you've got a comment or question about that item, please feel free to come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and ask your question or make your comment. I'll start on my right. John?
John Stalvey, 3284 North Whitney. Couple of questions. One on, sorry, I have it flipped here. Sorry, hold on. I was reading questions for this gentleman and I put my packet over. The ordinance on the tattoo parlor, I would allowing tattoo parlors inside the UV. There's no ordinance. I mean, not ordinance, I'm sorry, the discussion on allowing tattoo parlors in the UV zone. I urge that you would think long and hard about that, because there's reasons that we didn't allow them to start with. I have nothing against tattoo parlors or those who, go to them. But if you look around the Atlanta metro area, they are associated with certain areas. And we need things in Hapeville that, we have very limited buildings here in Hapeville. And we need things in Hapeville that attract people to Hapeville. And I just don't think that that's something that will bring a lot of people in. So, I would ask that you kind of think about that long and hard. Also, we're back again talking about our millage rate. And I'll ask that you think long and hard before you decrease our millage rate. I know that comes as a shock to y'all, but we have a lot of things we need in this city. We're losing firefighters, we're losing police officers. We need an ambulance, we need a fire truck, I know Lee needs roads, sidewalks. All of these things are liabilities to this city and to the residents that live here. And we might need to think about, we don't even know what our tax digest looks like. They haven't even approved the one yet from 2017. So we don't even know if that money we have is accurate yet. I wouldn't do my household finances, not knowing what I have, and make decisions of decreasing the income I have coming in without knowing some of the data factors that y'all don't have. Yet you're thinking about decreasing it was mentioned last time, decreasing the millage rate. And as much as I would like to have my taxes lowered a little bit, I would more rather have an ambulance that shows up if I need one, or a fire truck that shows up should I need one, hopefully not. I would like to have the sidewalk in front of my house that I trip over every morning when I go to my truck fixed. I would like to have, Chloe wants LED lights at the crosswalk. That's great. I would love to have those. Where are you going to get the money from? If you decrease the